Welcome students. Today is January 11, 2021, and I welcome you all in the new lesson of science class. So moving on, the topic for today is forces in machines. So what is force and what are the machines? So what is force? Force is anything. A force is something that is a push or a pull on something that we apply. We apply a push or pull on something that is known as force. What are the machines? Machines are those objects or those materials uh, दैट इज़ द ह्यूमन एफर्ट. मशीन एक ऐसी चीज़ है जो इंसान का काम आसान करे. दैट इज़ अ मशीन. If you have ever watched the great film of engineers, the Bollywood movie Three Idiots, you can have better definition of the machines as told by Amir Khan. So forces and machines, they have a close relation. So machines work when they are provided with some force or some energy. So and let's discuss the topic. What topic 6.1. In this topic we will discuss mainly about frictional forces, and the force of gravity. The force of gravity is that force, is the pull force of the earth, that earth attracts everybody towards its center. So that is the force of earth known as gravity, a gravitational force of attraction कहते हैं उसको. सो व्हाट इज फ्रिक्शन? फ्रिक्शन ये होती है कि जब कोई भी दो बॉडीज इन कंटेक्ट जाती हैं आपस में, तो अगर वो स्लाइड करें एक दूसरे के ऊपर, सो दे विल ट्राई टू रेजिस्ट, टू अपोज ईच अदर. तो वो एक दूसरे को अपोज करने में जो फोर्स एक्सर्ट करेंगी, दैट इज नोन एज फ्रिक्शन. फॉर एग्जांपल, अगर आप अपनी हथेलियों को, अपने हाथों को स्लाइड करें एक दूसरे के ऊपर, यू कैन फील heat produced due to that force. So that is the frictional force produced when hands are being slided over one another. So whenever two things are in contact with each other, there will be friction acting between them. Or we can minimize this friction, but we can never reduce it to zero. फ्रिक्शन कभी भी ख़त्म नहीं कर सकते, बट हम उसका लेवल जो ऑफ फ्रिक्शन वो है वो रिड्यूस कर सकते हैं थ्रू lubricants, and there are some many other ways through which we can reduce friction. Friction is somehow advantageous as well as it has some disadvantages. So here you can see some examples of the friction. So high friction क्या करती है? Will slow something down. तो high friction किसी भी चीज़ को स्लो डाउन करने के लिए यूज़ होती है, और लो फ्रिक्शन किस लिए होती है? विल कीप थिंग्स मूविंग. सो अगर आप लोगों ने स्की की हो या स्की का कंपटीशन देखा हो ऑन स्नो, तो जो स्की बोर्ड होता है, जो जिसके ऊपर वो पर्सन या प्लेयर स्लाइड कर रहा होता है, सो दैट इज़ अ फ्रिक्शन लेस. उसकी फ्रिक्शन बहुत कम होती है, तो उसकी वजह से अ मैन इज़ मूविंग much faster at much faster speed, and the player has sticks in his hand. So these sticks provide high friction. For example, if he wants to stop or if he wants to slow down its speed, so he can use these sticks. Okay, so this is the difference between high friction and low friction. Also you can see that water on a slide is provides low friction, due to which a baby falls down more speedy, with more speed. Also friction due to friction, we apply brakes to our cars, our vans, bikes, motorcycles. So remember that अगर फ्रिक्शन ख़त्म हो जाए इस दुनिया से, फ्रिक्शन मैंने ऑलरेडी बताया आपको कि फ्रिक्शन को कभी भी आप ख़त्म नहीं कर सकते, आप उसको ज़ीरो नहीं कर सकते. फ्रिक्शन को हम किसी हद तक उसका लेवल मिनिमाइज़ कर सकते हैं, कम कर सकते हैं, बट ज़ीरो नहीं कर सकते. अगर हम फ्रिक्शन को मिनिमाइज़ कर दें, बिल्कुल ख़त्म कर दें, तो अगर गाड़ी एक चलनी शुरू हो जाए, वो कभी भी रुकेगी नहीं. A car stops due to some frictional forces being provided by engine and the tires as well. So what are the advantages and disadvantages? That is the one main advantage that I have discussed, that to break something, to resist something, we use frictional forces. For example, in ice skating, and or snow ski, and also to apply brake to our cars, vans, and other automobiles. So, what are the disadvantages of friction? Despite the fact that friction is very important in our daily life, it also has some disadvantages. For example, heat produces heat. For example, friction produces heat. Machines that are working, their parts go in contact with each other. When they slide, they produce heat. As a result of any mechanical, any physical activity, we have heat produced. For example, in the morning when we walk faster, our body is in some physical activity. Due to that activity, we get some energy, we heat up. So that is the reason that due to friction, for example, when we rub our hands over each other, after some time we will feel that our hands are getting hotter, getting heat. So as a result of friction, the heat is produced. That heat can be dangerous, can be damaging to some machines. So how we can reduce friction? We can reduce friction by polishing the surface. If we want something, some objects friction to minimize, so we have to polish that surface, or we use lubricants. For example, in a bearing wheel that is used inside the wheel, uh, we use some lubricants to make it frictionless, to make its motion, its movement frictionless. And also streamlining and using ball bearing or wheels rolling friction. So we can also use wheels as a to resist, to oppose, to minimize the rolling friction inside wheels. So what are the other ways we reduce the contact area by using rollers, ball bearing? So when we use ball bearings, we will see in the next page a ball bearing. So then I will explain you in detail. Here you have some air hockey table. Also, if you have played carom board, or you have played snooker, in carom board we throw dental is some a powder like matter that we throw over that table to get our uh, keys to be frictionless, so that they can slide over easily and go into the particular uh, place. Also, in snooker game, we use chalk to smooth the tip of our snooker stick, so that the strike should be accurate without any friction, because friction resist, yeah, opposes the actual target. So to which ball you want to hit, if you have friction or any other, if the stick isn't smooth enough, so you may lose your target. So ball bearing, here you can see ball bearing is used in bicycles and also inside the wheels. So this ball bearing is a structure where you have two rings of metal, and in between these two you have a metallic rolls, mean metallic bobs. These metallic bobs act to rotate the outer part. The inner metal is fixed with some axle, and the outer body rotates due to these rolling wheels or rolling bobs present inside them, which we call ball bearings. Water and friction. friction has some link with water. In water, invisible forces slow the swimmer down. These fluid forces called drag push against your swimming motion. So, for example, when a swimmer is swimming inside the water, so why he is being resisted by something? Even you can't see anything, any visible force in the water, but it has some particles. These particles produce the force of friction, due to which they oppose the motion of a swimmer, and this force of friction in water is known as drag force. So, what are the latest technologies surrounding racing swimsuits are aimed? So, जो स्विमिंग सूट्स यूज़ किए जाते हैं फॉर स्विमिंग पर्पस, तो वो बेसिकली इसीलिए बनाए जाते हैं ताकि क्योंकि उनकी सरफेस जो होती है वो स्मूथ होती है और वो फ्रिक्शन कम से कम प्रोवाइड करते हैं while you are swimming in the water. Air also has some resistance. For example, when an aeroplane moves or a missile is being fired, so the tip of missile and the tip of the aeroplane gets heated. Why it is heated? Because when it rushes through the air particles strike with them, provide frictional forces to that object to not go through air. Air exists all over. So whenever you something passes through it, rushes through it, it has to face some disturbances. These disturbances or frictional forces are being caused by the particles of the air. So as I already explained that the aeroplane tip, also a missile, so these tips are basically made so sharp such that it can rush through air with less friction. If you have ever seen the bullet being fired by the gun is made like a pencil like shape to make its edge going inside mm, smooth. Why we make it smooth? So that it can rush through air with minimum friction. Friction अगर हम reduce करेंगे तो उसका advantage क्या होगा? It will go swift, it will go faster. Okay, as you have seen that on a highway, if you have observed that trucks and cars, if we compare trucks with cars, so what do you think, which one will move faster? Obviously the cars will move faster because cars have a particular shape, particular structure that minimizes the frictional forces of the air. Otherwise the truck has a bigger structure and it doesn't have the particular shape. In contrary to these two, if we compare motorbike with these, so motorbike is much faster than all these automobiles because it is being affected by the air, by the air resistance, by the air friction, very very less amount. So next topic is gravity. What is gravity? आइजैक न्यूटन साहब एक दफ़ा एक दरख्त के नीचे बैठे थे और क्या हुआ, एक सेब का दरख्त था, उसके नीचे बैठे थे और अचानक सेब गिरा ऊपर से नीचे और इसी की बेस पे सारी फिज़िक्स, सारी साइंसेस बिल्ड हुई। आइजैक न्यूटन साहब को अगर वो एप्पल वहाँ से ना गिरता तो शायद फिज़िक्स की क्रिएशन ना होती। तो आइजैक न्यूटन साहब बैठे थे दरख्त के नीचे, ऊपर से एप्पल गिरा, तो अगर हम जैसा बंदा होता तो बस उसका मकसद ये था कि एप्पल मिल गए, बस इसको खाना है। बल्कि वो एक साइंटिस्ट था, तो साइंटिस्ट क्या होता है, उसकी जो थिंकिंग होती है वो थिंकिंग लेवल उसका बड़ा ब्रॉड होता है, ठीक है, वो आउट ऑफ द बॉक्स जाके देखता है। तो उसने ये नहीं सोचा कि बस एप्पल आ गया, उसने ये सोचा कि अगर ये एप्पल नीचे गिरा है तो ये नीचे क्यों गिरा है, ये ऊपर की तरफ क्यों नहीं गिरा। अगर प्लक होता है दरख्त से खुद ब खुद, मैंने तो प्लक नहीं किया, वो कहता है कि he personally didn't pluck that, so why he fell down. So from that point he concluded that there is some force of attraction of the earth due to which it falls down. So as you see, everything falls down. Why it falls down? It is due to the force of attraction of the earth, that is known as gravity. So gravity is the force of attraction. सो न्यूटन साहब ने उस एप्पल के गिरने के बाद उनने एक आइडिया दिया अबाउट ग्रेविटी, जिसकी वजह से उनने एक लॉ प्रपोज किया. व्हाट वाज दैट लॉ? दैट लॉ इज नोन एज न्यूटन्स लॉ ऑफ ग्रेविटेशन. उनने कब प्रपोज किया? इन 1687. इन 17th सेंचुरी में उन्होंने ये प्रपोज किया था कि जो लॉ ऑफ ग्रेविटेशन, लॉ ऑफ ग्रेविटेशन क्या कहता है कि एवरी बॉडी इन द यूनिवर्स हैज़ टेंडेंसी या हैज़ द एबिलिटी टू अट्रैक्ट अदर बॉडी टुवर्ड्स इटसेल्फ. सो ज़रूरी नहीं है कि सिर्फ अर्थ ही अट्रैक्ट करती है हर ऑब्जेक्ट को. अदर ऑब्जेक्ट्स में अट्रैक्ट other objects may attract the earth, but the mass of the earth is much more greater than any other object existing in the universe. Therefore the force of attraction of the gravity of the earth is much more greater than. So what is the mass of the earth? That is 6 multiplied 10 times 24, 10 to the power 24. दिस मीन्स 6 के साथ अगर हम 24 zeros लगाएं kg, that is the mass of earth. So you can assume that it is such a bigger structure. So with this bigger structure it will have the force greater than any other object in the earth crust. So on the basis of gravity we differentiate between weight and mass. Mass is something, mass is a matter. किसी भी ऑब्जेक्ट के साथ कितना मैटर लगा हुआ है, कितना मटेरियल से कितना बड़ा एरिया के ऊपर स्प्रेड अप हुआ है, दैट इज नोन एज मैस. ठीक है, मैस क्या होता है किसी भी ऑब्जेक्ट का कि वो कितना ज़्यादा उसके साथ मैटर लगा हुआ है. यानी एक चीज़ प्लास्टिक की बनी है तो कितना प्लास्टिक के साथ मिलके कोई चीज़ बनी है, एक चीज़ मेटल की बनी हुई है तो कितना मेटल मिलके वो एक ऑब्जेक्ट क्रिएट हुआ है. सो दैट इज नोन एज मैस. व्हाट इज वेट? वेट इज मैस व्हेन इट इज मल्टीप्लाइड विद ग्रेविटी. अगर हम मैस के साथ ग्रेविटी का जब अमल दखल होता है, दैट इज दैट टर्म कम्स आउट एज अ वेट. तो मैस और वेट बेसिकली दोनों मैस मेजरिंग क्वांटिटीज़ हैं. ठीक, मैस को हम किलोग्राम में मेजर करते हैं जबकि वेट को हम किस में मेजर करते हैं? न्यूटन में. क्यों न्यूटन में? क्योंकि वो ग्रेविटी की वजह से, ग्रेविटी पे डिपेंड करता है वेट. ओके, सो जो वेट की डायरेक्शन होती है हमेशा, वो हमेशा डाउनवर्ड होती है. तो ड्यू टू वेट और ड्यू टू द ग्रेविटी एवरी बॉडी गोज टुवर्ड्स द सेंटर ऑफ द अर्थ और इट फॉल्स डाउन. दैट्स ऑल फ्रॉम टुडे. होप you have enjoyed. Thank you for joining. Allah Hafiz.